I'm Ella.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is the Oracle Sportscast.
On Saturday, Tennessee Tech opened up conference play against TSU. They won the game 24-14, starting off 1-0 in the conference. They started out the game 14-0 in the first quarter. Ella, what did you think when that was when you saw the scoreboard? It was 14-0, and Tech was just doing whatever they wanted. What was going through your mind?
Well, I'm glad that we got off to the start that we did. Two touchdowns back to back. I mean, off the first two drives, you can't ask for anything better than that. And I'm so glad to see this because we're showing momentum. Like, we're showing that we're a team here to come and watch.
I agree. They started fast, even defensively as well. They were getting after Draylen Ellis early on. They sacked him a couple times on third down, and they were able to capitalize on the first drive. Obviously, Jordan Potts had that design quarterback run for a touchdown. And then on the second drive, Obisani took one 53 yards to the house.
Yeah, that was awesome to see. I think that helped our momentum so much, too, because they did start coming back. And so I think that little spark that we had with that pick six really kept us going, like, oh, we're still in this game. And we had 6 sacks. I mean, you can't ask for a better defensive round than that.
No, I agree. I mean, TSU's passing attack on offense so far this year has been really, really good through the first 3 weeks, and Tech made a focal point to stop that, and they did that well.
Oh, yeah, they did a great job. There was no rushing yards. I mean, that's insane. I know the halftime stat, it was like -15, -12.
That's insane.
I mean, that is crazy to look at that stat.
Obviously, you take those sacks into account, that'll negate some of those rushing yards, but to have a total net yardage of 0 rushing yards at the end of the game is huge, and Tech ran the ball really well for 200 yards.
Yeah, I mean, we had our quarterback run in for a touchdown. I mean, what else can you ask for? That's showing that our O-line is doing what they're supposed to be doing, though, for our QB to be able to make plays like that. And defensively, we're obviously a competitive team when it comes to defense, and I feel like that's something that's been missing in the past.
Yeah, no, I agree. This defense looks really good so far. Going back to the offensive side of the ball, it was 14-0 early on. It looked like Tech was maybe going to run away with it, and then Potts kind of rolled out. He threw one into the flat, and just an unfortunate thing. It really wasn't on anybody. It wasn't anybody's fault. The ball just kind of bobbled up, and they took it all the way back for a pick six.
Yeah, I feel like that time during the game was kind of iffy watching it. I was like, we're either going to roll with it and just going to keep going negative, or we're going to bounce back and we're going to come back and be positive. And then we did bounce back, kind of be positive with the pick six. And then we also had a field goal, which all helped us get it back rolling and helped us secure the game.
Yeah, that pick six that TSU had, it just kind of shifted the momentum momentarily. They were able to score again before the half. It was Draylen Ellis to former Tennessee Tech wide receiver Jaleel Dean in the back of the end zone, so that was cool to see. But it was 14-14 at half. It was kind of a tale of two different quarters there in the first half, but in the second half, it was a good defensive performance by Tech.
That TSU pick six, I feel like it was definitely one of those things like, oh, yeah, look at me now. Like I left you, look at me, you're picking off your ball. Yeah. So I'm glad we was able to recover from that.
I agree, yeah. We were able to get them back later on. We'll get into that later, but we'll keep recapping the game. So in the third quarter, we were able to get a field goal and go up 17-14, so that was good. It stayed that same score for a majority of the time. Tech's defense was still – you could tell the offense was just leaning on the defense.
Oh, yeah,
They were just running the ball really well. They didn't want to make any mistakes on offense, which is a smart game plan with the defense playing the way it is. And then late in the game, about a minute left, Draylen Ellis tries to throw one to the sideline, and we do exactly what they did to us. The ball kind of got tipped in the air, and then Ty Moss, he took one back.
Yeah, looking at the score being 24-14, that shows that it was a defensive game. You don't get into 30s. That shows there was a battle of the defenses during this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then at the very end, of course, TSU had one last chance to – it was like less than a minute, so it was unlikely they had one last chance to go up and score and get an onside kick. But on a turnover on downs, we get the ball back, run the clock out. That's all she wrote. 1-0.
Yeah, we did see Jordan Potts come out though during the game. I'm not sure if it was injury, or I think it was injury. So hopefully we do get to see him come back because we did rely on our backup quarterback. So this game coming up against Gardner Webb, I hope to see him come back because I feel like he's really helped the momentum of this team.
Oh yeah, Potts is crucial. It's crucial to have your starting quarterback against anybody, but especially into a conference game this Saturday. I'm going to talk about Gardner Webb for a little bit. They're 1-3, right? And looking at that record, you're thinking, they're not a very good football team. I have to disagree. They've played tough competition so far, and they've played them close. They played James Madison, and they lost 13-6 to James Madison in week 2. I don't know if you watched the game this Saturday. James Madison played North Carolina and beat them 70-50.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's a football score, not a basketball score. So that's a high-flying affair. So I guess I don't want to say make a prediction, but what do you think going into Saturday's game? What does Tech need to do on offense or defense? What do you think this Saturday's matchup will look like?
Oh, it's going to be a defensive battle once again. Like, both these teams are centered around defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what we're going to see once again. And it's going to be, honestly, a battle to the end because both programs are in their rebuilding stage.
Right.
And so both new coaches. So going into this, no one really knows how to play him completely yet and how to play us completely yet. So I feel like it's honestly going to be a head-to-head battle.
I agree. I think it'll be a completely different ball game from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gardner-Webb was able to get the best of us last year. They were a really good football team last year, but like you said, they've got a new coach just like we do. So both teams are going to look a lot different.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we can already see our teams already on the positive here. We're coming off a win. And I do believe they're also coming off a win. So once again,
you're right. Yeah,
battle again.
Exactly
Everyone's
right.
got the momentum. Everyone's got the confidence right now. So I can't wait to see this game and who's going to come out on top.
You're right. It's kind of eerie how similar the two teams are now
Mm-hmm.
that you kind of, now that you said that. They both got their first win of the season this past weekend. Like I said, Tech's 1-0 in the conference. As of right now, we're first in the conference in
Yeah.
the OVC.
I feel like we've not seen that in a while.
We've not seen that in a long time.
I like it. So hopefully we can stay out on top.
I agree. We're tied with SEMO right now, I believe. We're both 1-0. So that's cool to see Tech at the top. It'll be interesting to see how they go moving forward into the rest of the OVC play. This Saturday will be huge, though.
It will be a big game.
It'll be a big game. Going back to the TSU game, like we said, Tennessee Tech's defense was able to get after Draylon Ellis all day long. Hudson Tucker actually got Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah.
6 tackles, 2.5 for loss, and 2 sacks.
Yeah. And we also saw Hayden Olsen get nominated for
That's right.
something this week. So
That's right.
Tennessee Tech, we're getting in the papers, we're getting on the news, we're making some steps here.
Yeah, it's cool to see those individual players get recognition when they play well. Going back to Hudson Tucker, I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to block him. I would not want to block that guy.
No.
His arms are probably that big around.
He had 4 sacks like himself.
He had 4?
He had 4 sacks and 2.5 tackles for loss.
I did not know that. That's
4 sacks, 1 guy.
Oh my
I mean, that's insane.
goodness
He is
gracious.
getting through that line. I would just be like, move out of the way, let him get him.
Gardner-Webb's going to have to game plan around that guy.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee
Man.
they will be making a plan to stop him. If not, they need new.
They need to.
new
No, you're
coordinator.
exactly right.
New coordinator
They need
needs
to
to be
figure
hired.
something out.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
4 sacks, and then on the other side of the ball, or other side of the defense, at the other end position, you got Daniel Rickert. I mean, that guy, he had, I think, 9 sacks last year.
That's
That's tough
Yeah.
to defend. I mean,
yeah. We
unless
have
you're-
some playmakers on our team.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's so excited to see them being highlighted and coming through, showing off.
Yeah,
So.
that's tough on an offense to have to game plan around 2 defensive ends. And you have to worry about guys in the linebacker positions like Kamen Spalding is playing out of his mind right now. He's leading
Yeah.
the team in tackles.
Yeah.
Aaron Swafford, you always have to worry about him. In the defensive secondary, a guy like Tim Kutris, we've not really called his name much this year
Yeah.
as much as we did last year, but I feel like he's just waiting.
Yeah, speaking of Aaron Swafford, I believe he's been injured recently too,
Yes.
an ankle injury. So hopefully going into this Gardner-Webb game, we can see him getting back more into his flow and hopefully starting to recover some.
I agree. If we can get him up to 100%
Yeah.
like he was against MTSU,
Oh,
he had
yeah.
a really good game.
Our
against
defense
MTSU.
is insane right now. Tennessee Tech has just honestly been such a fun team to watch. I mean, last year, I'm going to be honest, it's not one of my favorite things to watch. This year, it's fun. Like, it's fun watching this team.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up because we saw a lot of fans at the game.
Oh,
on
yeah,
Saturday.
it was filled out. I
Yes.
walked out, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, I've not seen this in a while.
We just had the one side, but
Yes,
it was full.
it was packed.
It was full.
It was packed.
Absolutely. That'll be interesting to see moving forward if we can continue to get that same crowd effect. Hopefully we can. I think we will.
Yeah, they came out and saw the first win of the season. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's positive right now.
Exactly,
So we got to
yeah.
keep this ball rolling.
That's good for Coach Wilder in his first conference game to just get that under his belt and have the community behind him.
Yeah,
So that's
especially
good.
your first game being at home, like
Right.
winning at home.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome
huge.
to see. Yes.
Like we said, Tennessee will go to Gardner-Webb this Saturday and take on, I think they're the Running Bulldogs.
They
Those
are
their
the Running
mascots.
Bulldogs. Yes, they
Interesting.
are.
Okay, Running Bulldogs
We had the
versus-
Georgia Bulldogs. Now we're having the Running Bulldogs.
Yeah, but they're not as good as Georgia, hopefully.
No.
The Running Bulldogs versus the Golden Eagles this Saturday. Kickoff time, I think, is 3 p.m. Central. So just keep that in mind.
I'm Ella,
And I'm Tyler.
and this has been the Oracle Sportscast.